What's poppin', YouTube? I'm back with another Sinister Yo-Yos video. I know the last one was a while ago, but sometimes life gets in the way, as they say. Anyway, last month was Fixed Axle February. Well, last month was February, and a lot of folks decided to throw only Fixed Axle in February, just for fun. I didn't restrict myself to just Fixed Axle, but I decided to play only responsive throughout the whole month of February. I bought and sold several responsive yo-yos. I've played nearly every single modern responsive yo-yo on the market now. First off, I'm just going to tell you what I look for in a responsive yo-yo. It has to have a snappy response, meaning whenever you go to tug with your hand to bring it back, there cannot be any lag. I really don't like it when you have to pull a little bit harder or make even more slack in the string so it winds up. I just wanted to come back with the slightest little amount of slack in the string. So it's got to be snappy. I also like diameter around 60 millimeters. It can be smaller, it can be a little larger, but I kind of gravitate toward the around 60 millimeters in diameter. And the weight doesn't really matter to me, since some of those are wider than others, because of the degree of flare on the rims, or several other factors. So the width is not really an issue. It has to have high walls though, because starting out in 0A, all I can do so far is go back and forth from trapeze stall to brother stall, aka making the zines. That's my trick. The high walls are paramount. It must have high walls, because you can't do good stalls without high walls. It's a mnemonic. Think of it that way. Also, I like anywhere between 45 and 60 grams for weight. That's pretty large weight range, but different yo-yos for different things. I usually don't go for ones that are heavier than 60 grams. I figured I'd just tell you what my top 5 0A modern responsive yo-yos are. Anyway, here we go. First up, yo-yo number 5. That reminds me of a song. Right here, the Alley Cat 650B by Corco. This yo-yo excels at everything I like to do responsive. It loops wonderfully, high walls, great stalls, high walls still. You know what I mean? That's what it's all about right there. The Alley Cat by Corco. Number 4 would be the Tomcat. I just got this one. This is the Kuhn Tomcat. It has an adjustable gap, so you can tweak the response how you want, which is amazing. It's a little harder to do stalls on this one, because it flares out at the top. That's just a detractor. I still like it more than I like the Alley Cat, and more than I like all the others that didn't make the top 5. Especially a fantastic yo-yo, especially because of the adjustable gap. And at it, it looks gorgeous. This is an amazing yo-yo, hands down one of the best. Number 4, the Kuhn Tomcat. Yo-yo number 3 is right here. This is the Spencer Berry Theodore. Hard coat, and it has a C bearing in it. It's just a heavily lubed C bearing. Usually I prefer a much smaller bearing in my modern responsive yo-yos. This one gets away with it with a C, Even though the walls still aren't too terribly high, and it flares out quite a bit, it's super easy to catch on the string. Stalls on this one are excellent. So yes, the Spencer Berry Theodore coming in at yo-yo number 3. Number 2, we have the Doc Pop Weekender. Alright, check that gap out. It flares out quite a bit. This was initially designed for responsive 5A, which just blows my mind. But it is great for stalls. It is great. You can do kick flips on it. On a rare occasion, I can actually land a kick flip. It's not super easy. The trick is hard, but on this yo-yo, I land them more often than I do on other yo-yos. This has an A bearing, and it's the yo-yo that I compare all other responsive yo-yos to. It's either the Weekender or it's something else. This is number 2, the Weekender by Dr. Popular, aka Doc Pop, and it's fantastic. You cannot go wrong with any of these yo-yos, but especially the Weekender. For my number 1 responsive yo-yo, it is another classic. That is, in fact, the Tom Kuhn Silver Bullet 2, or just SB2, as is engraved on the face right there. And just look at that gap. That's amazing. It's super high walled, and because it's such a tight gap and it has such high walls, super amazing for stalls. This is an anomaly in that it takes response pads and has an adjustable gap. So you can really get super precise with the response on this, on how you want it. For me, the Silver Bullet 2 just makes me feel great while I'm throwing. It's just, this is the pinnacle of 0A yo-yos. And this was made in 1998, before any of that came along. And it's still, you can't do better. Well, there you have it. Those are my 5 favorite modern responsive yo-yos. Some other yo-yos that I passed on. I was not a fan of the Deep State by One Drop. It's great for going up and down and doing forward passes, a little bit of looping, but I didn't like it for stalls. I did not like the Metal Gamer. I found it too heavy. On the other side, I wasn't as huge fan of the Delrin Gamer. I found that to be too light. The new Recess and Zekio Quiz. The quiz has some lag whenever you bring it back. It's not super snappy. And there is a high-walled portion that is supposed to be good for stalls. And it does work. It just does not work as well as a full-on high-walled yo-yo. And I know why they did that. They wanted the yo-yo to be able to be converted between responsive and unresponsive, and they wanted the yo-yo to be easy to catch on the string. I understand why they did that, but you need the high walls if you want the good stalls. That's the moral of the story here. The G2 Respawn had the same lag on the return that the Recess and Zekio Quiz did. And I'm not a fan of that lag. You can compensate for it very easily, but I'm trying to keep my collection down to the essentials. So I passed on the G2 Respawn as well. Well, that's about it for my recommendations. Hopefully I will be able to do another video soon. I don't like taking these long breaks between videos, but sometimes that is necessary. But alright, folks, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and happy throwing.